Whew. All right. Well, that took a minute. Sorry about all of that. So we were supposed to be on the DreadLore channel, but YouTube changed some things up, and it takes apparently 24 hours to initialize a channel, which, there's no documentation on that. I guess maybe if you read through it all, the pages and pages of documentation that you don't get unless you try to do something. Anyway, I had no idea that you had to initialize a new channel, and so I cannot stream from DreadLore. I've got to stream from something Buncombe. So that's what we're doing tonight. My bad. I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time updating all of the social media to actually reflect that change. Oops. There's a great amount of frustration going on there. So that's what's going to happen right now. Let me see. Whoops. Live stream is from something Buncombe on YouTube tonight. Starting now. Hashtag GameTalk. Jeez. Damn. That is quite annoying. Yeah, sorry about that. Whoever is following right now. DreadLore is not... I don't know. You have to initialize the account or something on YouTube. It gave me some new loading screen that they just updated it with. And it's one of those walkthrough things where it's oh, you got to do this and then this and then this. And it'll be 24 hours before you can stream. I'm like, what? Okay. Where did that come from? So I just decided, screw it. I'm going to use something Buncombe because that's the one that we've been using. It does say that, let me see, it says, please check the video resolution. The current resolution is not what it should be. I don't know why it would be that way. I swear, I'm just having technical difficulties all the live-long day right now. So hopefully you all can actually see this and it doesn't suck. If it does, let me know. Let me know if it sucks. I think actually what it is OBS. I think this is the problem. I think I see. There's something weird going on with the resolution. I don't know why it's that way. That's really strange. I don't know if it's every live stream is like this. Ooh. Every live stream's like this where it's somebody's why it doesn't work. I don't understand what's going on. But that's the way it is for me. All right, well, hopefully that works. Okay. So, as you may have noticed, Ben is not with me tonight. We gamed, and he gamed out. So he will not be here. But as our goal has been to finish the book, I'm going to actually... Normally, I would jump to the bestiary and just start doing that and telling you a little bit more about DreadLore. I think tonight I'm just going to jump into the book itself and start where we left off. I might go back and, in fact, I'm almost assuredly going to go back into some of the comments and stuff that, as we've gone through, we've gotten probably halfway through the book, maybe 2/3 of the way, although that might actually be wishful thinking. And we've left several things to actually do. So I need to set up a little bit for that. I'm waiting for my coffee to heat up in my ember mug. I thought it was heating up, but it apparently wasn't. It was just charging. Oops. So you guys get to hang out with me. If you want to follow along in the book, go to DreadLore.com. And there's a link to the book that I'm editing currently. Be awesome to see y'all on there. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah. So what we do, you can actually, if you're looking, where my cursor is. Actually, can you see my cursor? I don't know if you can actually see it. No, you can't. You can just see where I'm typing because I'm not technically sharing my screen. Balls. Anyway, at the top where it says share up there, to the right of that, you see that little circle. That's my icon. If you jump on here, you will have an icon that appears to the left of that big blue share deal. And you should be able to click on my icon, the little DreadLore design, and it'll show you wherever I am. So let me see. I'm going back over here. Oh, what's up, man? Waka. Boom. Yeah, I was actually going to be on, I don't know if you heard what I said before. I was actually going to be on DreadLore YouTube. But I don't know if YouTube did an update or what. Or maybe I don't know, never set it up for the DreadLore account. But it apparently takes like 24 hours to initialize your account so you can live stream. So I can't actually do the DreadLore account tonight. Instead, I'm doing something bunkum. And it's just me. I'm drinking coffee out of my fancy mug. I will probably be making a pre-prohibition style cocktail here in a little bit. Something called a Union Club. It's a bourbon drink. Union Club. If you haven't had one, it's delicious. I went to bartending school this past month or so. And so I've learned a whole bunch of cocktails and stuff. So that's one of the things on my discussions and whatnot that I'll be doing, talking about the random alcohol while, whistling while I work. How are you, sir? Okay, I'm going to set up a few things really quick while I'm doing all this. Let me see if I can do this really fast. Okay, so switching between all my stuffs. I'm going to roll down in this guy. I'd like to have a little bit of music going on. I believe that Danheim, that's right, that's what their name is. Danheim is open source. I don't know if it's actually called that or not. You don't want to see that. I think I just flipped the screen really quick. Let me see if it actually, I have to wait till it actually catches up to see if it actually did it. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm going to check out this Danheim really fast and maybe can get some music on here. And hopefully I will not get like one of those copyright silly things. Danheim. I just want Danheim music. How does one do that? Boop. Okay. Now I'm going to do this and hopefully it won't be too loud. So, give me just a moment. I need my headphones. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog snoring. But he's snoring. Okay, so I can hear it. And let's see. Oh my. There that is. That's just going to make things really loud. Boop. Okay, well that's weird. It's doing a double mic. That's not what I want at all. Okay, hold on just a second. No, not built-in microphone. Not USB audio device. There's a way of doing this. Okay, that should... Hello. No, that's not it at all. Sorry for all the setup, but I've got to do the setup to make this work. So, I'm doing this thing. There's a streaming software. It's basically whatever you capture from your computer. You have to have a program that encodes it and that's sort of a streaming software. You have to be running that configured correctly, and you kind of have to do it right every time, right? It's just arcane, and that is called OBS. So hopefully I can set this up really fast. I say really fast, and see audio input capture and an audio output capture. Add this guy. That didn't work. Curses. God, I hate this stuff. And my eyes hurt, so I gotta wear these silly glasses. Okay. So how do I do this? Audio input capture, I guess? Yeah? No, that's not what I want either. Curses. That's not it. You know, I had this worked out before, and I betrayed my fathers, and now it doesn't work. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, it might work. Hopefully it doesn't blow you all up. No, you can't hear that, can you? I mean, I can hear it. Sounds great. Made it. Hi, Megan. Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties. I am doing a little bit of setup, so it'll take a couple minutes for me to do this. For now, let me switch the thing over. God. It's like multitasking on steroids. Ugh. And everything's called something weird like little abbreviations. Like, it just doesn't make sense. If you're not careful, it all explodes in your face and you want to murder the world. I want to murder the world right now. Okay. Where's the thing? This is what I want. Put this up here. Do that. Okay. So this is what I'm listening to, or I'm trying to get it to where you can listen to it. This Danheim stuff. But I don't think it's coming through on the deal. It'd be really cool when it does. Oh my god, I hate this stuff. Built-in microphone, it's not what I want. Default. Is that it? Hello? Hello? I swear. No, it's not working either. God damn it, I hate it. There's built-in microphone, there's USB audio device. Damn it. It's so bloody annoying. And that's wrong. I guess I can update you guys on what's going on. So, Ben cannot be here tonight. He just messaged me and said he couldn't do it. So instead, it's just going to be me. I'm going to pick up where I left off from last time. Yeah, I appreciate, the encouragement. Just, God. I feel like every 2 or 3 times I use OBS, I run into this problem. Where I'm like, why in God's name does this not work? There's like a blue million. No fucking local file, Jesus Christ. A blue million different settings, and none of them really tell you what they mean, so you just have to try them. I can do from the browser, maybe. I don't know if that does audio or not. No, that's not it. Oh my god, fuck you, man. It's not my browser, Jesus Christ. See, text siphon client, no. Media source doesn't work. Audio output capture. That's what it should be. It should be audio output capture. And it doesn't give me a device to do. I I don't know if you can hear that or not. Hello. No, that's my microphone. I don't know why it's not working. I kind of got technology hates me too. That's why I don't stream. Dude, no joke. Oh, and of course it flipped my deal. God. Oh, God, it's awful. It's real frustrating. Really, really, really frustrating. Why isn't this working? It was working. It was working before. Oh, did it? It. Of course, it turned. I hate it so much. Oh my god. I hate everything. Okay, how do I do this? Built-in microphone, it's not it. USB audio device, it's not it. USB audio capture, that should be it. Is it working? No, it's not working. So I've got to go into a stupid thing. Hold on. Why isn't this working? That makes no sense. It was working last time, and now that's just not. Just gonna play it through my goddamned stereo. Hopefully you can hear some of this. You can hear me again? Yeah. Fuck everything. All right. I don't know if you can hear this or not. If you can, awesome. If you can't, sorry. But I'm fucking done dealing with it. I'll drink my goddamn coffee. My lukewarm goddamn coffee. Oh my god. I'm mad. Anyway, this is Danheim. You should be able to hear that a little bit. From what I understand, Danheim is royalty free. So if somebody wants to call me on it, they can go fuck themselves. They're a very good band. So check them out if you wish. I'm going to take them off real quick. All right. Can you hear the music at all? Yep. Agreed. All right, let's do it. So, what I'm going to do is go through some of, go just actually from top to bottom, the book, and kind of pick up where Ben and I left these comments here, and just try to mess with it. And I'll address some of these things. Okay, so what is this? These are difficulties in DreadLore, moderate and fiendish difficulties. Address after first copy edit. Okay, so that's us saying, hey, wait. Ben says this should be moved to the Arbitral's toolbox. So I can see why he's saying that. It's probably because players don't really need to know this. Players should know how difficulty works. But I guess they technically don't need to know that there's a moderate and a fiendish difficulty. I see the reasoning there for that. My argument with moving it to okay. Yeah, I can't change. If I make the music too loud, then it's just a bitch. So my argument with moving this is that players, people that maybe they want to be arbiters, maybe they want to play the game as characters, whatever, they need to be able to know what the rules are as they read through the book. Now, of course, we get into the idea of how you're going to use the book, and how you're going to use the actual printed book is not in a PDF format. in this PDF format. This is a Word document, essentially, a glorified Word document. It's a Google Doc. And the actual PDF won't look like this. Neither will the book. It'll be set up differently. And I can see someone saying, well, if you want to know about difficulties, then you would flip to the index or the table of contents and find that out. And you can find that all in the Arbiter's toolbox. The Arbiter's the game master, and it could talk about all these things. But at the same time, it does matter for players to know when do you need to bid and when do you need to throw down dice. So, I don't know. The other thing is, and let's pop down to the Arbiter's toolbox so that you guys, it's in module X. So you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about here. Arbiter's Craft is what we're calling it now. Drink your players' tears, but don't be a dick about it. Me. All right, so your player characters talks about helping how to build characters. This module is a bit of a wreck. It talks a whole lot to the game master, the Arbiter, of how to run DreadLore and how to think about running this game, because it's very different than running other games. As in the mindset is different. What the encounters are building towards, how to use the rules effectively. So we really think that this is a very important module. That said, it's like the trash room in your house. We kind of relegate anything into this module that we're not really sure where to put it. So it's a bit of a wreck. So we have challenges, how to set up challenges and stuff. The question is where to put the difficulty stuff if we're actually going to put it there. So you see, this is stuff that's already been moved. This is how to build characters, or NPCs, non-player characters, which I call the antagonists. The idea being any person in the game who's not a player character could be considered an antagonist, because it depends on how you roleplay with them. This is all good stuff. Of course, it needs help here. Let's pop down. I want to find a place to put this. Okay, and I've edited it up to here. So this is where it all gets pretty nasty. Just a bunch of examples that we've thrown in Arbiter's notes. And then you get in game system theory. Okay, and that's pretty much the Arbiter's Craft right there, and acknowledgements. So, I don't know. I'm not really sure where difficulty should go. I don't think it should go to the Arbiter's Toolbox or the Arbiter's Craft. I think it should be in the book and for players to be able to read it. The fundamental rule, as I'll get to right now, right. So the fundamental rule is this: when do you have to throw down dice? And this explains that. If something's considered a moderate difficulty, then you don't have to throw down dice. And that's most things. All you have to do is have a character trait you can bid that explains why you get away with it. So, for example, you're trying to persuade someone, to give you a discount on armor you're buying, or the fare for an airship or something like that. Well, why should you be able to do that? You make that major action. Hey, I'm going to try to use my man tits and make sure this person gives me a discount on the fare for the airship. The Arbiter would say, okay, what do you bid to do that major action? And you have a list of character traits. So maybe one of your character traits is, you look good. So I bid, I look good. If it's a moderate difficulty, which is to say, it's an important scene for you to, and you need to use your character to accomplish a goal. But it's a stepping stone to the actual climax of the encounter of where the game is going. Now, let's say you're attempting to bribe Karun, the boatman on the River Styx. Karin, anyway, the boatman. Well, that's a little bit different. You know, that's an intense situation. You probably have your music going, the lights going, everything's, the tension is building as the arbiter says, okay, well, what do you do? How do you get on the boat? Well, I use my vicious man tits to bribe the boatman to let me on. Okay, that's what do you bid? I bid I'm looking good. Look good. Cool. You do bid that, but it's not a moderate difficulty because we're actually dealing with actual conflict. This is where the arbiter wants the narrative to come to a head and everyone to say, okay, well, what's going to happen? Is it going to happen and something then bad follows, or do we get away with it? And yeah. That's going to be a fiendish difficulty. And that's when you actually have to throw down dice. And that's what all this explains. And I feel like it's perfectly fine here. Let's look. This is within roles, major actions, what I just described. Minor actions, those are everything but major actions. So I put on my sunglasses, throw on my coat, tip the waitress, and I bribe the boatman. Okay, well, bribing the boatman is a major action. Everything else is a minor action. Reaction roll would be, someone shoots an arrow at you, you get to react. Difficulty. I'm not going to resolve this, but I am going to reply to it and say what I just told you guys. Boom. And Ben and I can have this out. There's probably a better place to put it. I will concede, but I think that it needs to be in the book proper. Rather than just relegated to, the Arbiter's Guide. Let me see. Looking at comments. Karin. Okay. Charon. Oh, so it is Charon. Awesome. Do you have basic section for general ability checks? Difficulty should be under that as other checks you need to do. So to answer that question, yes. Module 1 is all of that. Module 1 talks about, it is the introduction to the basics of the game. And then I want to say Module 6. Let me look. My table of contents. Module 8 is combat. So you get into combat. I could see it going into combat instead of Module 1, the game, which is the basics. I could see it going there. I'll make a note there that maybe it goes into the combat instead. Edit. Maybe this should go into Module 8. Combat. Okay. All right. So this gets into test, all these things. Really, I'm just looking for the comments that he and I made that we were trying to get back to. And there's a whole bunch of them. Okay. What are pips? Anything else a pip can do. So a single pip can be spent in-game to change some minor element of the narrative. Example, a character can remember to have done something the player did not remember to do. E.g., I don't know if it's kind of weird to say e.g. after an example. I also feel it should be there. Okay. Pip can be spent to amend or take back an action or utterance that proved calamitous. That is technically not correct. A pip is not just an undo. It's minor actions. It really isn't. You really can't take back a major action. 5 pips can be spent to purchase a new trait, like regular advancement becomes available. Which, like, okay, I see. Okay, what are pips? What are anything else a pip can do? I'm going to say no. And then what are pips? It's a good question. How do you get pips? You see, that would make the most sense to me. Yeah. So, pips. What are pips? Pips are not XP. They're points that are awarded. Pips are points that are awarded. Or I should say that the Arbiter awards players. For inspirational, or just plain fun roleplay, for figuring out clues, and for being awesome. And then I'll just end it there. Pips can be spent in several ways. A player cannot have more than 5. Come on, Macintosh. 5 pips. Actually, should say a player can have a maximum of 5 pips. At any given time. Pips can be used in several ways, and I'll make this bold because I think it's the first time we talk about it. Whew, got cold up in here. Is it cold where you are, Megan? And Waka, if you're still on, how's the weather out in England? In the north? What are pips? Resolved! Boom. Oftentimes, the character is smarter than the player, but there are also times that the player is smarter than the character. That is completely true. That's one of the things, like, I remember, I mean, we do it in DreadLore and in every game, but I think the first time that I really saw it was in a D&D Dungeons & Dragons game that I played where I was playing a sorcerer, and as my first character, it was level 18. You know, I was playing with a bunch of guys and girls that had played since they were like 12. You know, I had like just gotten out of college when I started playing D&D, and you know, real cool. Anyway, it was like level 18, which for those of you that don't know, that's really a high level. So it's playing on hard mode really fast. Anyway, the sorcerer that I played had an intelligence of like, because sorcerers generally have charisma, but I had an intelligence of like 18 or 20 or something. And again, for those of you that don't know, an 18 or a 20 in any stat in Dungeons and Dragons, it's superhuman pretty much. So, you know, I'm not that smart, and it's just funny to make decisions as that character that you would really never make, you know? Like, you come across something and you essentially have Sherlock Holmes intelligence, but you're you. And the opposite can happen, especially if you have like a player who's not particularly gregarious or charismatic. Every so often you have one of those people who are like, I want to play a social character, and they just can't pull it off, or it's hard to do it. You start at 7, yeah, and 50s out in the law. Well, 50s are better than whatever we've got going on for sure. All right. I'm sorry about the music. It sucks that I can't get it to work. Let me turn up the music. Maybe you can hear it a little bit. Tell me if that is too loud. It probably won't be, but you never know. So I'm just going to, on these places where I have add or help, I'm probably just going to make a little note to the side. I mean, especially with things like derangements, I feel like they should be added to with examples just so that people can kind of understand how they work. But I think people can also figure out the idea here. Aha. I barely hear it. Yeah. I wish I could turn it up. I just don't know how. Move to lore and breath discussions. The reply is legends of the half-dead cults and burning all your breath. Move burning mechanic to breath as well. Huh. So half-dead should be moved to lore and breath discussions. Oh, legends of the half-dead cults and burning all your breath. Move the burning mechanic to the mechanic of breath. Okay. See, this was done on August 31st, so I kind of wonder if it was Ben and I who said this, or if it was me who said it. Because notice how they don't have... this does seem like Ben and I did it. I can't quite remember. I was going to say, notice how it doesn't have 1die4. Usually when he and I go through, we fix all these just bits and pieces. Okay, let me see. Half dead. This is a condition, essentially. See, I feel like we went through all of this, but these capitalized letters, if they're not capitals. What do you say, caption case? They're all capital letters, are usually traits. So burn should definitely, well, damn, this is a really good question. I'm not really explaining too much of this for your derangement list. Want me to send you a decent list? So those derangements, we made a short list of them on purpose. But yeah, send on the derangement list. That would be good. At the very least, we can look at it and maybe sub some things out, or potentially even add. Because there's really no harm. There's a pun here somewhere. There's really no harm in having a more exhaustive list. So fair enough. But a lot of the variety with the derangements comes in the flaws that people get. Put a W next to your edits and tags. Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, usually what I do is I'm editing normally as DreadLore system, and then Ben, when he gets on here, edits as his own little deal. So, as you can see, a lot of times it's him and I as DreadLore system, or just me. Okay, let's talk about this. Conditions. I think what I'm going to do here, because I'm not 100% what he and I had decided. I'm going to put a W, as Megan suggested. And actually, I'll just put a bill. That way it's very explicit. Are we doing dead or dead? Burn or burn? Because I remember he and I had a conversation about this. My argument was, I believe, that when you're dead, you gain the character trait dead. Which seems like, well, why wouldn't you just rip up your character sheet? It's because you can actually burn breath to be revived, but you have that character trait was dead or something. That may be a little bit obtuse. Lost, and then when you get into burn, to burn breath means you lose that point of breath forever. You only have, at any point, 2 to 4 breath, depending on how powerful of a character you start out as. And there's really only a couple ways to get to increase your maximum. 90% of the games, you're not going to find that. So if you burn a point of breath, for instance, to survive dying or survive going completely insane, you gain that character trait. Burning breath also ages you, and it has this narrative effect on you. So you kind of have that idea of you gaining the character trait. Truth be told, you should probably just gain a flaw instead of gaining burn. So I'm just going to make an executive decision on that. And yeah, Megan, absolutely send me the list that you have, because I'm sure you have a lot of really cool, a cool list of derangements. I would like to look them over. Okay, let me turn this off and pop this guy on. All right, so similar to being dead, I'm just going to make a decision on this and say, boop, we're going to do this. They're considered dead. And we'll say burn is a mechanic. Breath to be revived in some way. So I'm going to do all this stuff. Lost. Alright, I don't know if I've seen this anywhere else. Shadowed is an actual character trait that you gain for sure. So burning breath is explained elsewhere. Now we'll say stunned, bewildered, all of those are conditions essentially. So I'm thinking that dead and lost will also be conditions. And we can, if we want to change that later in editing, we can. Once we get the Kickstarter going. Okay. Dead. See, lost. I don't think I probably completely missed several of those. They can burn point of breath. Feel like there probably should be a pointer to, hey, what the hell does burn mean? So, see, actually, let me find one of these guys. What are those called? They're not links. References? Jesus. Okay, let me pop this guy open and find out where in the hell breath is written down. Breath pool. I don't know if it's here or not. So spinning breath and burning breath help. Great. Let's make a little note that this needs help. Bill. Help. So, okay, so good. We have burn here. All right, so where is this? This is resources in chapter 3. So chapter 3, attributes, resources, module 1. Okay. Boom. Module 1, chapter 3, resources, breath. And module, boom. I'm going to keep it like that. And I should say this. Alright, so for half dead, let me change all this really quick. I'm going to turn on my music. Move to lore and breath. Breath discussions. Legend of the Half-Dead Cults. That's cool. And burning all your breath. Move burning mechanic to breath as well. You know, I feel like that this might be redundant in some way. And that may have been one of the things that Ben and I had talked about before. Let's see. Arrangements. Breath. A finite number of points. Spend a point to throw down. See special actions. Spend a point to negate a condition. Burn a point to change your stars, which is a mechanic. See special actions. This should be down here. And Orsha. Boop. I'm gonna do that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna put what we had copied and pasted. Yeah. And copy this. I dislike it when everything's highlighted like that, because it just it's distracting to me, I think. Okay. Levies a price. Okay, so this can be moved up here. Doop. Oh, I see what I've done now. And I see why they went together. Probably a little stream of consciousness that I had going on. Okay. So then half dead. See, it really it should be in the breath pool. If your character is reduced to dead, a loss, you may burn a point forever. You know, honestly, I don't think this reduced and boosting. I don't think this half-dead mechanic should be in the resources. While it has to do with breath, it should be in special rules. I mean, that's why it was there in the first place. Yeah, I'm going to keep it there. And edit this. Discussions. Could move to something like Legends of the Half-Dead Cults. This is cool lore. Let's see, move to settings. Okay. All right. Boom. Let's see. Sending you the arrangements as well. Thank you. Just sent you a message with a list of phobias. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Oh my. So what is all this? This has been a minute. All on August 31st. Okay. Any other condition that may arise should be determined ad hoc by the arbiter. Conditions can also be good for PCs. Yes. Where is that? Other condition. Also this. I'll just go there. It should be this way. Other condition. Other conditions. Need not. I shouldn't put it that way. Can be both beneficial, beneficial, and harmful. Ugh. Harmful. Okay. Can be either beneficial or harmful. Rephrase and add stuff to arbiter note. A lot can happen. Sandbox. Exhaustive. Is a word? I don't know if that needs to be edited or not, to be honest. Move to character creation attributes. Periods of life. This is one of the questions that Ben and I had, obviously. So the periods of life, it's a really cool rule. It's a really cool rule. But you know, just because something's really cool doesn't mean it needs to be in the book. And you can definitely make a DreadLore character without even like ever coming in contact with periods of life. But it is kind of cool. And in fact, I just answered one of my own questions. I agree it should be moved to character creation. And it should be one of the should be on the character sheet. So we were trying to figure out what to do with on the character sheet. There's a place for reputation, and reputation is one of those interesting rules in any game. Like, what's your reputation? So throughout the versions of DreadLore, we'd come up with several interesting ways to do this, and I just didn't want to let it go, so I put it in this book. Honestly, reputation is cool. It does not need a mechanic, at least in this game. You know, if you were playing a game that was all centered around you being a bounty hunter, as in if the system was all about being a bounty hunter, or, if the mechanics of the system had to do with being, like if you were playing, you know, the Mandalorian tabletop game or whatever, you'd probably want a stat called reputation because it would have a a hard mechanical bonus or effect in the game. Maybe you're working towards reputation, and that's the reward system. The more reputation you get, the better armor you get, or whatever. Whereas in DreadLore, that would just be a character trait you might have. If you were going to play a Mandalorian in using the DreadLore system, you just have character traits that made you the Mandalorian, and a few of them would have to do with your reputation. And you could bid those to get your Beskar armor and that kind of stuff. Beskar armor. So you just don't really need it. At any rate, I'm going to move this to character choices, which is to make a character, and I'm going to put it where reputation is, and get rid of reputation. Boom. I'm not going to get rid of it. But because I want Ben to be here if I'm gonna erase anything from the book. I do think though this is a good spot for it. Periods of life. I'm just gonna call it period of life. Boom. Dank. All right. Yep. I like that. I think that's really cool. And I'm going to make it a little note. Bear. Moved this. I think this should replace reputation. Because I think period of life is way cooler. Period of life is interesting. It shows the weight of the world on your shoulders. And, DreadLore, the setting, at its heart, what it really is a horror game. I don't mean in the sense of necessarily like zombies or Freddy Krueger or something. I mean in the sense of kind of like in the way that Fallout is a bit of a horror game. Like you're dealing with the unknown, as I think it's Fallout, as you're coming out and learning the world, and you're a stranger in a strange land, and you're dealing with the powers that be. So your period of life shows the weight of the world on your shoulders, both in a physical way, in a mental way, and it kind of that what do they call it? Not aether. Sort of a metaphysical way, the weight on your soul, and I like to call that weathering, or just your period of life. So we've actually already gone through this, so I won't go through the whole thing, but the long and short of it is your period of life could be child, which means you're fairly innocent, all the way to rough in your what is it, the Batman line, like if you live long enough you end up being like the villain or what have you. You outlive your prime. And one of the cool things about the mechanic of period of life is you gain things from being young or old, a young person with an old soul, or an old person with a young soul, or any combination thereof. But there's also a negative side. For example, child, the world is mysterious and all these things, but you have the flaw innocent. Or if you're young, you have the flaw inexperienced. And the idea is that these are cumulative. So, with those flaws, you can turn them into something, but you still have that innocence going on. You just sort of build up your little tower around that innocence. That's sort of supposed to be the idea of like a person who always falls for the same trick, and then they eventually learn how to not fall for it. They still have that weakness in them. They just learned how to deal with it better. I think that's a better ruling than reputation. Reputation should probably go directly in the Arbiter's Codex, or the Arbiter's Toolbox, or whatever the hell we're calling it now. I'm going to move it there. We had named it an optional mechanic, and I think that's a good place for optional mechanics, because players don't need to see that. If the Arbiter wants to use those things, then I think that's fine. Module X, Arbiter Craft. I'm going to call it the Arbiter's Toolbox. It's just a better... I think I call it Arbiter's Craft, or Arbiter Craft, because of the way it looked rather than it making necessarily sense or anything. Let me see. Chapter 1, your player characters. There's no chapter 2. Awesome. Chapter 3 is antagonist. Chapter 4 is a list of arbiters. I think chapter 2, there might be technically a chapter 2 that just doesn't have a heading here. Let me see. Running the game, player versus player, using the antagonist properly. That should probably move down into antagonist itself. I want one for a list of optional rules. Let me see. List of arbiters' notes. Could go in list of arbiters' notes. Players getting powerful, striking a spark, improving aspects. Yeah, I can see it here. Let's see. Well, no, I see what it is. I made a chapter 4, a list of arbiters' notes, because that's where we were putting all of the arbiters' notes in the book, as we have throughout, and we're moving them. This was just an actual place to put them. Well, I'm not going to get too deep into the arbiters' toolbox, because, I mean, that in and of itself is a bear. We'll call this chapter 2. What was I doing here? Optional rule. Optional rules. We'll call them rulings. No, we'll say optional rules. If you haven't figured out why some of the book is like bonkers, right now should tell you why. Okay. I don't actually know how many optional rules we have. This is going to be pretty obtuse, what I'm about to type. Arbiters may use these optional rules as they see fit. See, as appropriate. As they see fit. That's it. Okay. And now there's a chapter 2. And I feel good about that. I'll say collection of arbiters' notes. And there's like 3 of them or something. This is one of the hells of editing a book, is you start changing the headers. Oh, this is chapter 3, chapter 4, and before you know it, chapter 5 is in front of chapter 1, and there's like chapter 5, section 8, but no section 5. It gets all over the place. Okay, let's pop down here really quick. Oh, where was I? I just saw some of this. Okay, so we already did that. Do 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 do. Done all this. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to do. See those special rules right there? Bam. Boom. Put that little curvy arrow there. Special actions be special rules, special actions. Special rules. And is there an actual yeah, there is. Special rules, special actions. Let's make it look like that. You know, I can probably just do this. Bam. Okay. See if we can find something else to edit. Add, we don't need to add. We can do that later. Half dead. I've been half dead all day. Okay. Recovery and such. Hey, look at that. We're changing up our list styles. So here's all of this bidding of traits. I'm going to just say, Bill, erase this? Question mark. Okay. All that stuff is there. So we changed some of this stuff before. expertise as they see fit. Look at me. Players can be different tiers, but if so, they must be balanced in some way. That probably should not be. I don't really have a good reasoning for saying that. It just seems to me... Why is seasoned capitalized? Oh, I know why it is. Because... Well... Okay, so basically when in practice... players say, what tier am I? Oh, you're tier 3? Okay, then you have... this many, bonuses towards this, and you get this many breath, and actually I think breath is based off backgrounds, but you get what I'm saying. The cool way, though, is to say, oh, you're tier 1, you're coming of age. Tier 2, oh, you're seasoned. And the reason I think that's important is because someone says, well, what's the difference between tier 3 and tier 2? Well, tier 2 is you're seasoned. Tier 3 is you're heroic. Well, what does that mean? Well, you read it up here. It says what it means. Your power level and where they are in life. So I'm going to say if these are capitalized, that means you can bid them. Ergo, they are character traits. So you don't bid your tier, you bid the character trait associated with your tier. So I bid coming of age, I bid legendary, whatever. And for some reason I wanted to spell out the words. Okay. Wanted to see something about these free ranks too. One thing in the online game, or online games that we've been running is, do you get enough free ranks for proficiencies or expertise? And that's what I'm going to put here. Should we give more free ranks than we do? Boom. Okay. Let's see. Placeholder for the book. No problem. Reword. I don't want to reword this. Yeah, I don't want to reword this right now. I hate everything. What? Boop. Okay. Reword. I'm not going to reword this stuff because it's not that I can't do it. It's that I don't care. It's just not my jam. I would rather have all the right information and then, to make it sound pretty, I think is a bit of an afterthought. That's just me. See, describe young and old, needs rewording. Move this, I think it should be replace repetition. Okay, I already did that. Okay, and that was all periods of life. Check kits for balance. So with your backgrounds, you get kits. And I started adding some kits. Each time you may choose a background, you gain an advancement of your choice for which you also meet the prerequisites. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I had actually put that ruling in there after the last live game, and I don't actually think it needs to be in there. I'll add our little dumb formatting to this. One, 2, 6. Sykes! The Sykes! And I got a cool little note here. Bill added for clarity based on online player feedback. This is true. So note, this is based on your backgrounds. When people are trying to pick their backgrounds. Your background should reflect your chronological history. They provide a map for your character's story before the game begins. For example, the Dread Pirate Wesley did not begin as a pirate, mercenary, but as a plowboy, the underdog. So hopefully that gives enough of an example for people to latch onto. Because despite the explanation, people still tend to have questions that has kind of, or that have kind of already been answered, but they're still asking them, and enough people have asked them for me to say, well, maybe we need 2 or 3 examples just to beat the dead horse, and be like, oh, and it's dead, right? Oh, I get it. Grammar, I'm not going to mess with. I teach grammar. I don't need to mess with grammar. All right, I'm going to get some water really quick, and for that, I'm going to put on a little timer. Not a long, there we go. I'll be back within the next 3 minutes. I'll leave you with a little bit of music. All right. Plowboy. Plowboy. Let me see. Don't worry about it sounding pretty. Just worry about it making sense. Agreed. Plowboy. Ploffboy. That tells a very different story as to why the dread pirate Roberts kept Wesley around instead of killing him. Indeed. I believe that was a farm boy. That he was a farm boy. I guess he was a farm boy, wasn't he? Yeah, but see, there's a song, an Irish jaunty, is that what it's called? There's an Irish song about being a plowboy and how it's better than being, having all the riches in the world. So it's kind of a pun on a pun, if you will. Okay, so you might notice in front of me. Let me pop this over. Whoop. You might notice in front of me is some drinkage. I'm going to make myself a drink real quick. So I'm going to do, in this little glass right here, I got a little bit of ice in this guy. And I'm going to have to get the other mixing shell. But I've got some yellow chartreuse. This might be green chartreuse. Let's see. It just says chartreuse. It does not... Oh, it is yellow. Nope. Green or yellow. What color is that? It has a green label. Liqueur fabriqué par les pères chartreux. It doesn't say whether it's green or not. Wow, that's not green. I'm going to say that's kind of a greenish yellow. Regardless, I'm going to pour some of that up in here after I get a jagger. This is some Creole bitters, which I believe is similar to Peychaud bitters, if you have ever had those before. All right. Got the jagger and these guys. I'm not going to do too much here. I'm going to do 3/4 because this chartreuse is actually pretty intense. It's 55% alcohol. So that's a good, what is that, 110 proof? So it's kind of no joke. It'll be funny when I spill this everywhere. I'm going to go right underneath it. Ooh. Chartreuse, if you don't know, it's kind of like a little bit medicinal, but very herbal, and you either like it or you really, really don't. And for the bitters, I like quite a bit of the bitters. So I usually put in at least 3, and it gives like a really good color and a little bit of a bitter taste. I smell these two. I have no idea. It almost, the Creole bitters smell almost like there's a fruit in there, and I don't know what the fruit is. Okay. I'm probably going to add a little bit of water to this as well, maybe like 1/4 ounce. So I will be right back as I do this. Ari. So I added about 1/4 ounce into this. I'll move my microphone out of the way so I don't explode it. All right. The dog may. Whoa, I need a microphone. The dog may go crazy. There's another dog outside. And they hate those, you know. Let's see how that tastes. It's okay. I think I could probably water it down a little bit more. Yeah? Yeah, you doing okay? Yeah? Dog's going nuts. He's a hound, and he doesn't like other dogs. Okay, let me see where we are here. Modella effect. Mandela effect, I see. Come here. You guys want to see the dog? He hates it when I do this. Come here. I know. I know, you don't like it. Look. Yeah. This is the dog. His name's Floki. Yeah? How you doing? This is what it's like to be human. You get to hang out and look at microphones and TVs and computers all the time. Yeah? Yep, Floki's impressed. All right, come here. You gonna be okay? Yeah? All right, if he barks a whole bunch, then I'm gonna have to go deal with him real quick. But until that time, we can actually continue. Okay. I graduated from the Lexington Bartending School a long time ago. Really? That's where I went. That is literally where I went about a month ago. And it was a really cool program. Okay. So, let's put this music back on, which I know you guys can't hear, but I can. Haha. Okay, the apothecary kits. This is some balancing that really Ben and I have to do. So I'll just leave that for now. But suffice to say, I actually did add several things. Things like you gain... I can actually move some of this a little up. Basically, you have the option to gain expertise at the onset. So when you pick a background, and I was trying to make it a little bit more accessible, because right now, when you get a background, you get a kit and you get a gift, which is one of these traits down here that's like supercharged. But when it comes to actually picking your proficiencies, which is rerolls, or which are rerolls, the ability to reroll, or expertise, which are like abilities, powers that your character has that no one else has, you only get so many free ranks to actually buy. And as a starting character, unless you're tier 3 or 4, you really can't dig deep into those expertise at all. So we either need to give more free ranks or allow in the kits people to basically choose, like start digging down into the expertise from the get-go. I think we actually just need to add a few more free ranks. Okay. And some of these things are pretty cool. All right. I'm just going to make sure that there's no comments listed around. And I got to turn this thing off. Oh, my God. Today, I swear. Today has been an exercise of my patience. Make sure to mention in Mod X what? Random attacks and calamities tend to avoid you. The Arbiter should roll twice to confirm a random attack on you. All right, let's make a note of that really quick. That's unscathed in Warrior. So, let me pop down to Module X and find out where in the world that would be. It will load one day. Okay, so see your player characters. running the game, challenges, optional rules, antagonists, collection of arbitrary notes, and then game system theory. It's not under optional rules. Everyone gets a turn using antagonists properly. I'm going to see something really quick. No. Okay, good. All right. So what I'm going to do first is using antagonists properly. I'm going to move that out of here because it just shouldn't be there. I'm going to pop it down into antagonists where it should be. Building out stuff. Put it at the bottom of that guy. Boom. All right. So where to put this? Unscathed. Running the game, challenges, returning the dead. Or returning to the dread, player versus player, everyone gets a turn. Thinking... So I don't really want to make a section just for that one ruling, you know? But I guess I'm going to have to. What do you call it? Things to remember? See, this is the problem. You just make a note and then you forget about it. Or I just make a note and then I forget about it. That's maybe a better way to say this. All right, let's go through this a little bit. Helping build the characters. See, this is from monstrous backgrounds. Running the game. Challenges, returning to the dread, player versus player, everyone gets a turn. Test to deal with character overreach. Okay, that's a whole different deal. I really don't know where to put this. I want it to be something for the arbiter to do, and maybe it's just an entire section. You know what? I know where to put it. I'll put it where these arbiter notes are, because it is essentially an arbiter's note. Okay. See, backgrounds. And we'll make that a... I don't know which deal it is. 1 is that one. 2 is that one. We'll call it backgrounds. And what was called unscathed? Unscathed. Remember to roll twice. See how many times we said unscathed in the book? Several times. Was it not called unscathed? Okay. I'm going to take this away. Boom. Actually, no, it was perfectly fine there. Random attacks and calamities tend to avoid you. I'm just going to repeat it down there. And then, when we finally get to it, for this background, for this warrior background, boom. There we go. And I know this is all just... Ugh. I want to edit it so bad, but I'm not going to. Instead, we're going to pop back up to the top and go to unscathed where I was. Where I was with the vocal fry. Monstrous. Okay. Monstrous doesn't give you kits. Character advancement. Everything's fine there. How does one attune? It's true. Ben and I were talking about this. We talk about attuning several times in the game, and we never tell you how to do it. Or really what it means. I really need to delete that. I'll be right back. I've got to delete that for it to actually be enjoyable at all. One moment. Megan says, probably doesn't like because he hears the feedback from things. Yeah, it may be. That may be what it is. Before I did massage school, right after I dropped med school. Oh, right. I'm not sure that we knew each other at that point. Because I feel like there was just kind of a point you were a licensed massage therapist, and I had no idea. Or maybe you were going through it when I had met you. But I feel like you did all that stuff before we met. Okay. How to attune. So folding the story, improving ninja gear. This is a cool mechanic. I don't think that it should be these headings, but I'm not going to fool with it. I refuse to fool with it. I want to really bad, but I'm not gonna. A character may attune to a handful of her ninja gear. Characters can usually attune to a number of items equal to their tier. How about they can attune? How does one attune? I'm just going to resolve this and talk about how to attune. Where should attuning be? Attuning should be in probably ninja gear, because that's the stuff you're actually doing it to. You think it should go in ninja gear where you'd be attuning to the items, or should it go in CC? We'll just do this real quick. Boop. I need to find one of those little tags again. I don't know the little command for that arrow. I found the arrow and I just keep on copy and pasting it. I used to know all the ASCII codes way back when. Of course, I can't find it at all. Okay, let me do this. Boom. Okay. I believe it's up here. Yeah. It's yeah. Boom. All right. Bam. Bam. C. Kids. Nazis. Hitler in space. All right. And this does not need to be one of those things. So where would attune be? Where should it be is really the question. And hopefully my computer didn't freeze. All right. Magical processes to create the attunement. I think so. Long before times, in the long, long ago. In the old. Rather than in gear. See, that's a good question. Where to put it? And this has been the question, for so many things. Because it's what is it? What does Ben say? It's 6 one way, half dozen the other. If you put it in gear, people will say, "Why the hell is this in gear?" I've done that several times with other books. Why the hell is this here? It's because you get into gear and it's the only thing you're going to attune to. So, of course it's there. But at the same time, let's say we put it in what can a character do? So like the actions a character can take. For example, in Module 1, it's where all the mechanics are. So special actions. If I put it into special actions, it would make sense. Jumping ahead, changing your stars, concentrating, all of those things. I want to put it there. Because what I like to say to people when they ask, "Hey, where is such and such? Hey, Will, where's such and such in the book that you wrote?" I'm like, it should be in Module 1 if it's a mechanic, right? Because that's my go-to. My mindset on it was, it frustrated me with other game books that I was always having to go to the index. And then if the index isn't really good, you just can't find stuff and you're searching and it's not fun. Instead, I love the idea, like Numenera does this really well, where And I'll give Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, their player's handbook, the PHB, does it real well too. It's a pretty easy book to use. At least I've noticed that. If I'm looking for spells, boom, back of the book. And that's really any D&D book that I've used. Characters, boom, front of the book. Equipment, middle of the book somewhere, right? So there's certain places you just kind of know where to go. But then again, maybe that's just because of use. You know, someone who's never looked at this, what's going to be more intuitive? I'm going to put it in Module 1 in Special Actions because I think it should go there. If it is a thing that you can do mechanically, then put it there in mechanical stuff. Yeah. If it's a mystical thing, then it needs to be there. Does it take actual physical things to make an attunement? So, to be completely honest, it's one of those things that we haven't really defined. So in Dungeons and Dragons, to attune to something, you're attuning to magical items, whatever magical items are, right? So this chalice is magical because it has a spell on it, right? But there really aren't magical items in DreadLore, which we've talked about at length. Instead, it's more like you have a bond with it. Is that mystical? Yes. But mysticism and magicka are two different things. I'm going to put it in mechanical stuff. I think that's a good middle road. And then if people bitch about it, we can always move it. It doesn't need to be something to, does not need to be my Waterloo. Okay, so attuning be under special actions. Special actions. And I believe that I should know it by now. It's definitely module 1. Module 1. I think it's like special something or another, special actions, I can't remember. Special rules. Special rules. Special actions. Attune. How about just attunement? Advancement. Attunement. Haha. That said, character advancement is in chapter 3 of module 2. Whatever. It's going here. All right. Special actions. Jump ahead. Forego. Change your stars, damn it. Now here's something. Okay, we're gonna do this thing first, and then I'll get onto this. I'm gonna make a little note, so I remember. So I remember it. Bill added burning breath to breath rules. Okay. Attunement. Boom. Let's see. What is the deal for this? I'm going to go with 5. Hell yeah, girl. What? Okay. How much can characters attune to? I believe it's based on your tier. I'm just going to check that real quick. Folding the story. A character may attune to a handful of her ninja gear. Characters can attune to a number of items equal to their tier. Okay, well that should be and that's the explanation of attunement. Shit. What did I do? Why'd I do it? Oh, I know what I did. I know who I am. Alright, come up here. Attunement. Slate it. Yeah. Boom. Attuning. Let's see. I feel like this is incredibly redundant. Boom. Characters can attune to a number of items equal to their tier. Let me give you some music while I do this. Of course. Yeah, that's a good idea. Put the references in there. Oh, what? Look at what I found. Of course. The rules are in Instruments of Magica. So let me read through this really fast. The provincial Zen may believe a thing is magical because it exhibits extraordinary qualities, or because it is used to perform magica. Or because they see it being used, or because they may have seen it used in the performance. Ion. Common misconceptions of magical items are instruments of magica. I'm not even going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Which, while they are used as tools, they do not themselves possess any innate power. In reality, let me make this bigger. My old man eyes are killing me. Jesus, Mary Joseph. All right. In reality, there are relatively few items actually made of magica or truly considered magical on Craster. I should say in the natural. In the natural. There do exist many relics of power, and to a lesser quantity, artifacts. Artifacts are... I should put artifacts not in that, but as that. And that. Artifacts are generally unique items that can never be recreated. They are the nearest thing to magical items that are encountered. Relics... Ooh, my eyes. Relics of power. Let me do this, because it's the first time you see it, so I like to put it in bold the first time you see it. And let me do it like this, or I can just do this. Relics. Yep. Relics tend to have a story attached to them. They were used by a hero of the age, or they withstood a truly great event. Eventually, if a mundane item is used to perform great acts, it can become great itself. While not inherently magical, these items are made of special materials which resonate within the realms. Some are used as items of focus to aid in concentration, while others broaden and increase their wielder's abilities. A character may choose to attune to an instrument and further unlock the potential. Before being attuned to, all instrument exercise begin at one. Okay. At 1 die 4. Well, that's just terrible. I wrote that very quickly, I'm sure. Before being attuned to. Huh. So just switch this up this way. All instrument extra dice begin at 1 die 4. How about we just say that? So aren't the rules here. The rules are not here, I should say. Good. That means we can throw down some explanaciones deep up in special rules attunement. So we need a little bit of stank on this. Attunement, what the hell is it? Attuning creates a medical physical bond between the wielder and item, and then it tells you the base mechanic. It still doesn't tell you what it is. Take a drink. Dude, I have you on my phone. It's murder to me. Oh yeah? Take a drink. Reword that? Yes, thank you. Yep. I know I made the font bigger because it's terrible. All right. What the hell is attunement? For that, I will flip the mic around, give you some music, and I'm going to do some ninjutsu of the brainstem. What's music that won't be immediately struck down? Danheim. That's what we're going to do. A bunch of that stuff. Okay. So, I will answer Daniel really quick. Gravel Switch. So, yeah, the game went really well. I do this game. I call it Richmond Fay. I actually appropriated the game from Chuck Salmon, who's been on here and runs games, and he's on several of the short films and web series that are on this channel. Anyway, he started the game Richmond Fay as a D&D 5th ed game, and it was for it was in Richmond, Kentucky, is why I called it Richmond Fay, and it dealt with Fay, hence Richmond Fay. Originally, it was because St. Patrick's Day was going to be canceled because of, well, everything going on. He made this game, and it was kind of like a take on the Krampus, except for St. Patty's Day. Anyway, it was a really cool idea, but he got a bunch of people together, and they had really cool characters, so I was like, dude, why don't you make a campaign out of this? And then he was like, well, do you want to run it? And so I did that. So to ask him what time it was. Oops. So sorry, sir. Yeah, I was gaming and therefore did not see it. So I've been running the game since then, and it's gone through different, phases. We at one point we had a bunch of 10 people in it, of course, all moving in and out because everyone's schedule was jacked up. And recently, we got the game to a core group. Gravel Switch has a character where he plays Marad Hatun, who is kind of like a Mongolian style ranger guy. And yeah, Gravel Switch, you are welcome to play. It's Sundays in the afternoon at my place, which I will not say where my place is because it's the internet. Anyway. Right. We can talk about it. The game did go well. They're going into the plains, into Planescape, essentially. And it's been something I've been building for several months. So, all right. Let's look at attunement and the wonder that I just wrote. Haha. Speaking of, I think I'm going to go about 10 more minutes. And then start, wrapping up. Okay. Attunement. Attuning creates a metaphysical bond or sympathy between a wielder and the item she wishes to attune. To which she... so there's some problems with the English there. Attuning creates a metaphysical bond or sympathy between a wielder and the item to which she wishes to attune. And the item to which... That whole to which is always weird. The process is more mystical than it is magical in nature. The wielder might recite words of faith or go on a pilgrimage with the item or imbibe Licia One and Vision Quest. Vision Question. Poetry. Regardless, the ritual to attune requires her to spend time in contemplation with the item. Characters can attune to a number of items equal to their tier. Now, I don't know if you saw me struggling to figure out the words here. What I was struggling about was whether or not to put on the restriction of the first item takes a day, the second item takes 2 days, the third item takes 3 days, whatever. And I just decided it's just not important to make that kind of restriction. You can do it in game, and if people want to ignore it, they can. I want to look at rest and recovery really quick. Good. Rest is good. Recovering should be good. Awesome. This is wrong. I'm not exactly sure why Ben wants it to be edited this way. As in to say require 4, 4, or 5, 5. I do like how it looks. I don't know exactly where he got that. But it does seem to work. What do you all think? I'm also wondering why we didn't do it before. Because we did go through this stuff. And I'm wondering if maybe we just decided to do it after we were here. See, again, it gets into the whole, you start doing it one way and then, yeah. Achieving major and minor goals are how characters advance or increase in power over the course of the story. More on that soon. I don't think we need, well, screw it, whatever. I don't think we need that at all. Okay. Back to Herja. So, we've actually done quite a bit. Ooh, let me erase. I didn't realize that was still on there. Whoop, whoop. All right. Boom. We are making some headway. Get excited. Let me erase that. Proficiency traits. Help. A player can bid proficiency traits to reroll their dice when throwing down. 1 proficiency trait allows the reroll of 1 die. Proficiencies are described in greater detail in Module 3, Proficiencies. Why does that need help? It doesn't need help. It doesn't need help. It resists help. Damn it. I think all this is beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my God. We're not even messing with it. Whatever. Okay. Let's just go down. I don't like the fact that this footer is there, but that's because there's a page break, if you're wondering. And I wanted to actually put this Return of the King quote. I will, however, note, can we use it or not? I don't know. Can we use this quote? I would love to be able to use the quote, but if I have to pay Tolkien for it, or the Tolkien family, I don't have any money. I can't do that. Okay. And this was what I'd put on here of those free ranks. Right now you get 2 for coming of age, 4. I think it should be more than that, but that's something Ben and I can talk about. Okay, we've gotten through all of this. Ooh. Grandma. I'm going to move all the way past all the backgrounds. We were in advancement, I believe, weren't we? Character 3, yeah, that's where we'd gone. And I moved all that stuff. Okay, I had actually added this, which I did not show to Ben, because I did it on the sly. Bill, I added this as per request of the online players. It shouldn't be hyphenated, whatever. And then we have their special rules. I'm going to grab this just in case we need it. Do that, that, and that. Oh, and that. Again, I feel like we should have messed with these. Montage is one of those things. I don't know. I don't know about the montage. I like it, but I'm not sure about it. Treaties of War, Tomes of Mastery, Scrolls of Magica, Rites of Mysticism. I think this is wrong. Those are the wrong names. Oh, Lord. All right. So maybe I can actually find out what those are called. I think it's Journals of Theurgy, Treatises of War, Codex of Mastery, I think is what it's called. Codex of Mastery, Scrolls of Magica, that's true. Traditions of Mysticism. And I feel like there's another one. Is it Journal of Theurgy? Manuals of Theurgy, that's what it is. Okay. So it's manuals, codex, and traditions. Manuals, codex, traditions. Okay. And you know what? Just because I want to make it happen, we're going to do bullet points. We need to decide which bullet point we're going to use. I don't think we actually use this one at all. I'll use this one because I like those little dots. And it's easier to read. Damn it. Boom. We don't need no period. Ain't no full stop up in... Ha! Okay. Boom. Boom. So let's go down to proficiencies, the rerolls. Example. Yeah, Baad and I went through all this. And it doesn't look like we have any. Hey, proficiencies down. Add description of affinities. Expertise. So, affinities. What affinities are this? Affinities are the equivalent of cantrips. It's the idea of it's specific to magicka, and it becomes much more apparent once we're in magicka, and actually Ben and I are in magicka. Let me do this really quick. Boom, boom. Oh no, what have I done? It becomes much more apparent once you get in there. The idea is there's certain circles of magicka that seem far more useful than others. For example, Erin Flame magicka in the Scroll of the Natural, or the Circle of Erin Flame. It's pretty damn useful. Earth and Aegis, also in the Scroll of Magicka, useful. Biomancy is useful. But the thing is that the ways that they're useful are either just blatantly or obviously combative, or they're they're either completely combative or they're completely supportive, right? Which is okay. But the idea is that we don't want to hem people in to thinking that, oh, you have Erin Flame magicka, you clearly burn people. You make the Human Torch. That's the obvious route, and it's the fear. Or you're a biomancer, so you obviously heal people. So you're a healer, right? That's the stereotype, but you don't have to take that path. You can do those things, but maybe you specialize in doing something completely different, such as, keeping like, they might send, like the Calgarian Empire might send a mage of Erin Flame persuasion to, sorry, I just lost my train of thought, to keep the soldiers warm, as they traverse the Greystone Mountain Range. Although, yeah, the Greystone Mountain Range, or the Canic Range, or whatever. They're far more utilitarian, They can start campfires. They can put out forest fires, like the fire department of the city, as in the Bone Stone City. They have a couple mages with them that, when you can literally manipulate convection, that's huge, right? So it's not only blasting people with fireballs, which brings me back to affinities. The idea is that we wanted to give a little bit of an affinity. It's not something you're spending a chaos die on, as in whenever you do magicka, you have to roll a chaos die. If it rolls a 1, you have a mishap. It's kind of a trick of the trade. And you can also have them in Thergy. Now, Thergy in this, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but just in case people are watching that haven't seen it, Thergy is more of the science of the game. It deals with alchemy and the tarot and all of those things like Thergy actually does, but it's the scientific aspect, and you can have affinities in that. So anyone can take acids and mix them. There's an apothecary over there, apothecary's table has a bunch of chemicals. They're all labeled because the guy's or the girl's smart, whatever. So they left, the poisons labeled poisons, the good stuff's labeled the good stuff. Okay, well, I go take the poison and I mix it with stuff that makes poison better. Bloop, 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 bloop. And they haven't invested in this at all. In something like D&D, okay, roll. Oh, you rolled low. Okay, it messes up. In DreadLore, you take them, you're like, okay, bloop, bloop, and you have whatever it is. So how do you make rules for that? Because if I'm playing the Apothecarian or the Apothecary, and I have all these ranks in Theurgy, and then anybody can do it, right? Like, what's the point? Well, the point is you know precisely what you're doing. You know how best to do it. You can create these things from scratch. Oh, and you have this thing called an affinity. And the affinity would allow you to do things like render those acids from the natural pigments, which are the building blocks of everything. So how do you get the pigments? That's going into the forest, looking around and being like, oh yeah, this root, grind it up with your mortar and pestle, and I bid this, hey, Arbiter, I'm trying to get the blue pigment. Because when you get down eventually into Ninja Gear, we give rules for how to create these different things and what the pigments do. And that's kind of a cool aspect of the game. To play a Theurgist, you need to have that mindset of that kind of creativity of, well, I want to make, something that's kind of unstable, but you can pour something into it so it's stable, and then when you want it to be a grenade, you pour this other thing into it, and it destabilizes. And there you mess with the pigments to kind of get that going. And it has a very alchemical feel to it. So that's where affinities come in. We need a description of them. Basically what I just said, no pun intended, distilled down. No? All right. C module, boom. Why is this not right justified? Oh my God. Oh no, what have I done? Now it's right justified. Justified right. Get it? These are good examples. I don't know why. N extra die, 1 die 4. Gain 1 extra die, 1 die 4. It's like we just didn't even look. Ben did not like... he was a little bit afraid that these would be somewhat offensive. They're not. I don't think they're offensive. It's because they're based off real situations. You see what I did there? Thanks. Thanks, man. You're my rock. Okay. I feel like we do need to say something about affinities. Gaining and improving expertise. Where would affinities be, though? Mechanics at a glance. This is not a glance. That just tells you what's up and how it all works. Okay. It's a 3-step process. It's a 5-step program. And I feel like the 3-step process could be like 1, 2, 3, but I don't want to mess with Ben's Hooba Juba because he'll get mad at me. You see, Bill, should we have a numbered list? Okay. Affinities. Where to put it? Gaining, improving expertise. That's gaining it. It's not improving it. Broad types. Huh. It should be in the mechanics portion of it, but specifically where? And you get into training, and then you're in mundane expertise. Okay, I think what I'm going to do... Put into one to get the bird. In 1 montage. Yep. Did I not just do this? Oh, no, I didn't. Wait. I could have sworn I did literally this. I thought I put that in like a... Nani? Oh. I feel like this arbiter's note, not this arbiter's note. Where? Did I not just put this into a list? Or is it just a repeat? Bill, is this an effing repeat? Just do that. Because I'm not going to do it again. I refuse. As it's 10:07, it's... Oh well. I'm going to finish this before I do anything. I'm going to finish this before I quit. Gain expertise is a 3-step process. Where should I put the affinities? This is where we had the thing. All right, you get some music again because I got to think about this. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Kaboom. All right. Sorry that took me like half an hour. So let me mark this off. List subtypes. No, I didn't get that. Let me see. Where did I put it? It's up here. Add descriptions of affinities. Boom. Done. I do need to list the subtypes and the broad types. All right. Affinities. Some subtypes grant an affinity. Affinities are powers, tricks of the trade, and secret know-how that Zens who study and expertise garner through their practice. Those without a broad type and the requisite subtype cannot perform them. Affinities are limited in power. They do not incur chaos rolls, deal more than 1 damage, if any, and cannot be trained outside of learning the expertise. Outside of explicitly learning the expertise? I could say just learning the expertise. Okay, right quick. I'm going to see if there's anything here. Belongs in Mod 4, Chapter 1, Section 4. Rephrase ranks to discoveries in that module where appropriate. I'm gonna let Ben do that. I really don't know what that means. I remember us saying it in stream, but I don't quite remember what it meant. I think in the next stream we're just gonna have to actually do this, or else it's just not gonna get done. Because damn it, I don't want to be the only one that does that. Okay, I do want to add these things here. I do want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to list these subtypes out kind of like we did here: alchemy, marvel making, and weird astronomy. I think it's just going to be far more usable if you have a list of what these are. So, shouldn't be too bad to do treaties of war. See how many there are. A bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 pages of war. Right? Page. I don't need to say page of. Black Agnes. Miyamoto-sama. Soldiering. Right? How do you spell soldiering? Lord. Murder and doom. Yeah. And doom. And boom. There are 5. Within the treaties, there are 5 pages. Let's see. Within the treaties, there are 5 pages. Okay. We make it nice and pretty. Boom, boom, boom. Codex of Mastery. There's 2 tomes of the Codex of Mastery, Tome of Philosophy and Tome of Command. Philosophy and Command. I can make it sound good in a minute. Traditions of Mysticism. Laramuth, Bamola, Volca, and Mimir. Is it Laramuth? Bamola, Volca, and Mimir. Those are actually really, really cool ones. I spelled it wrong, despite having created it. These other ones I did not create. Those are actual, like, forest gods and stuff. The scrolls. The ancient scrolls. Okay, the scrolls, I'm going to see. There's a bunch of them. There's the natural, the unnatural, the gray, and the bright. The natural, the unnatural, the gray, spelled with an E, because we're savages, and the bright. It's not just bright, it's the bright. I don't know why I switched from an EA. No, it is an A-E-A-Y. Good. Okay, so that I can say that in reverse. I don't know why I've never gone from, or I don't know why I really like gray spelled with an A, but I really do. Maybe it's because I don't like spelling. All right. Within the treaties, there are 5 pages. There are two. What are they called? Tomes. I can just say, yeah. Within the codex, there are 2 tomes. Or I could just say, there are 5 pages within the treaties, whatever. I know. See, Ben's got me into this now. Being all pedantic. Within. Within. Boom. There are 2 tomes within the codex. The codex. There are 4 rights within the traditions. Of course, Manuals of Theurgy changes it up, whatever. There are 4 scrolls. No. It's called Scrolls of Magic. Oh, circles, right? Circles within the scrolls. You know, I actually think that's wrong. There are not 4 circles within the scrolls. It's scroll of the unnatural. The unnatural. Oh my gosh. Again, Magicka for the win. See, there's the Manuals of Theurgy, and there's 3 journals. The Scrolls of Magicka, actually, there are 4 scrolls, and within the scrolls, there's a bunch of circles. Wow. I should just say there are 4 scrolls of Magicka. There are 4 scrolls of Magicka. See, this is, again, Magicka is almost like its own thing. We've really tried to make it adhere, like have a symmetry between all of these things, but you know, there's just a lot of rules to them. So there's 5 pages within the treaties. I should probably reword that. Ugh. Gray is the color. Whatever. Gray comes from Gray's Anatomy by Henry Gray. Really? I see what you did there. Whatever. Gray is so much better than Grey. It's also my favorite shade. That wasn't a pun, by the way. There are 5 pages within the treaties. The treaties are comprised of 5 pages. That's what it should be. Or does it actually say exactly the same thing? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to say reword, and I'm just going to let Ben do it. Bill, reword. There are 5. Let's see. The treaties are comprised of 5 pages. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. The scrolls, of course. Yeah. Bill, this differs, of course, from the rest as doggy. As scrolls, let's see. There are 4 scrolls, and each have various numbers of circles. An extra level deeper than the other expertise. So, I don't know if you've picked up on it or not, but Scrolls of Magic are a biatch. One moment. Okay, it's 10:30. I think I'm gonna take a look at this real quick and probably pack this episode up. Changing backgrounds. I'm just not gonna do that right now. Black Agnes is so cool. Change the format. 1 bonus success. Okay, yeah, this is where I'm gonna quit. Okay. So it looks like we got all the way to here. I don't need to put a we are here. Edited up. Or edited. Shouldn't be edited. It should be not proofread because that'll be confusing. Comments dealt with, resolved. Comments, resolved to here. And I'm going to put that at the top so that we can actually do this. Boom. Awesome. I'm going to make sure that that's not used anywhere. I think it's not edited. Have edited up to here. I can just erase that. We don't need that. Okay. Boom. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. So close that boy out. Close that dude out. Swing. And make myself huge. I just got real big. Okay, yeah. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for tonight. It's 10:30. It's a good 2.5 hour, and it'll be good to or it'll be a lot easier for me to chunk out this episode. I don't know if any of you've noticed, but on the DreadLore YouTube, I have started to take the game talks and put them on there. And one of the things that I've been trying to do is make them a little bit more watchable, because I do understand that, you know, it's one thing to hang out on the live stream that lasts 2 or 3 hours. It's another thing to watch a 2 or 3 hour live stream that's been a pre-recorded stream. So what I've been doing is making highlighted episodes and just chopping them up into 15, 20, 25 minute chunks. And I'm really trying to make it 20 minutes right about, because I think that's consumable. And I have Game Talk episode 2 and 3 on DreadLore if you wish to check them out. And I've got to get through a whole bunch of them. So I'll probably only do the ones that... actually, fuck that. I'll probably do all of them. Never mind. Hopefully, next Sunday... Let me make sure I'm not totally screwing that up. Hopefully next Sunday... this stream will actually be on DreadLore. It should be. That's the 20th. So, yeah. Actually, I don't think we're going to skip one. I'm pretty sure. I was wondering if Christmas would be a thing. The 27th might be a deal. But, yeah, I'll let you know. Anyway, of course, I'll post on the Instagram. Thank you guys for showing up. Megan, Gravel Switch. And it looked like there were 1 or 2 other people that were on there. I really appreciate it. So I'm not all by my lonesome. Yeah. So that'll be it. I think this week the hope is on Something Bunkum, as in this YouTube channel. I'll have one of the SB discussions. So something Buncombe discussions. Last week I'd intended on having a discussion with Matthew Williams and Jake Rourke, two filmmakers in Kentucky, but an emergency came up and they had to bail. So instead, I talked to Emeris about things, or Casey, and she has a very interesting perspective on a lot of things. We were talking about responsibility in performing. So you should definitely check out that discussions. It's the very last one we did. I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday. So if you haven't, check it out. Megan was there, so she knows. Yeah, so hopefully this week I'll get to do a discussions with Matt Williams. We'll see if that actually happens. If not, I'll let you guys know. Either way. Okay, that's all. I'm going to read these comments real quick. Just letting you know that it fits since Grey's Anatomy is still used to this day, and since you use sciences, schools, and mystical artistry, it works well. Boom! Synergy. Synergy is the wrong word. Coincidence. Yes. Using gray when speaking of magic is strangely appropriate. It is based on scientific, or because it's based on scientific practice of human anatomy. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we get along. Yeah, you are right. And I appreciate the background. I really do, even if I rib it a little bit. Awesome. Okay. Kapla!